All right, so here's a question. Should you drop out of college and quit your job like now if you want to succeed as an entrepreneur?
If you want to succeed as an entrepreneur, the answer is absolutely yes. Fuck college. I always say, like, if you want to succeed as a doctor or a lawyer, you have to go to college. But if anything around business, if you want to make money and you want to succeed in business, anything entrepreneurial at all, you definitely are wasting your time in college.
What does college teach you? College teaches you to be an employee.
Yes. So you're really counterproductive to your success being in college. Personally, I've always described my college years, and I made the mistake of going to college as some of the most counterproductive years of my life, where I put myself way into debt. It prevented me from being successful as an entrepreneur in some ways, or at least slowed down my success because, I had issues with credit, the whole time. Just getting a fucking credit card to be able to process payments online was a pain in the ass because I didn't have a good credit, and it was all because of college. This is the only bad credit thing that I had, because I never had credit cards or anything like that when I was coming up.
Here's a related question. Are student loans worth it?
No, they're not. Yeah, they're not worth it at all. It seems like it when you're 20 years old, you think like, they don't think of it as like, oh, I got a loan to help pay for my education so that I can better myself. That's all what they say in front of their parents. And in fact, they got a loan and now they got $4,500 in the bank, and they'll buy their books and pay their tuition. And now they have $3,000 left in the bank so that they can go drink or go party or go out, take their girlfriend out, or go eat, a Subway sandwich or whatever it is that they do for about a month until they run out of money, and then they starve for 2 months and wait for that check to come in. It's like, it's an addict. You're addicted to just free living as a lifestyle. But like the student, they just want that free money, that free check coming in, but they don't realize that it's going to affect their future when they get out. They just think they want to have the freedom lifestyle now. It's the whole, the whole society is like pushing this, this younger generation into having, instant gratification, and the government sort of, and the entire society sort of perpetuates that by giving you money so you can go to college. But most of
they're all pushed into debt in so many ways. One is student loans, one is credit cards. I don't know about you, but when I was in college, I'm a freshman in college, they hired young, attractive girls to stand there and encourage you to get a credit card, and you're a college student, so they will immediately give you a credit card because they figure you've got parents that'll cover your back if you max out your card, and they'll give you free pizzas, or they'll give you t-shirts. It's like, sign up for a credit card, get a free t-shirt, and everybody's doing it, so you want to do it. So you have all these t-shirts that are like just stupid, like Discover and all this stuff.
It's a Hanes
and a credit card
that costs them $2, and another $1 or $2 to print. And they just acquired a new lifelong customer that's going to go deep into debt. I had a girlfriend in college who, by the time she was out of her second year of college, she was already in about $25,000 in debt just from credit cards. No job and no way to pay it back. Then she went into what they call the payday loans to pay for her credit cards. So then every paycheck that she got went to pay off the payday loan. The rest of it went to pay her credit cards. She just went deeper and deeper into debt. And then she filed bankruptcy by her fourth year in college.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Here's what I would recommend to somebody who's considering going to college. What they should do is they should first lie on their resume. And they should go out and they should put out resumes without college and see what kind of response they get. And then they should put out resumes with the little college thing on the resume and see if it makes any difference, how much of a difference it makes, and then say, is that worth $50,000?
$50,000?
Because I think what will happen to most people, what they'll be surprised by, the assumption is you get your college degree, and then it's like you've got the makings for getting a good job and security and all that stuff.
That you've been sold.
Really what it is then you're just like another person with like one little line on your, especially if it's really like sociology or communications or whatever, unless it's like a very specific degree geared towards a very specific discipline, what's the point?
What's the point? And another thing is, I've interacted with people who do the hiring for Fortune 100 companies, and a lot of them do not care about the degree either.
It's just a check it off.
It's a check it off, and they don't check to see if you've actually got a degree. They don't care if you have a degree. What they care about is your life experiences and what you bring to the table,
So if you realize all of that, and then you know exactly what they're looking for, then ding, 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 you get to win a job.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Now you're in servitude for the next 50 or 60 years, and maybe then you can retire and travel.
And it's funny, you talk about credit cards, you talk about college, and you talk about jobs. The whole thing is intentionally set up to bring you into that little funnel, to make you a servant,
So you can buy a house and be in debt for the next 30 years.
That's why the first thing that you see as you come onto campus the first day is those big long card tables lined up with credit cards, because they know that if they can get you on day one, they become indebted, then you have to get a job. You feel like you have to get a job. You can't go out and spend 6 months trying to become an entrepreneur because you have bills to pay. You have that credit card to pay off. You have $20,000 in debt or whatever, several $1,000s in debt to pay off, and so you can't go get online for 6 months and learn how to run ads or learn how to do SEO or build a blog or get on YouTube and try to become a YouTube star or whatever it is, because you have bills to pay.
Yeah.
And if you went out there without going to college and without getting credit cards right away, we have our own reason for getting credit cards if you do it in the right way. Yeah, but that's another subject. But yeah, I mean, the whole system is set up to turn you into an employee. So I would say that it's a big mistake. It's a big mistake. The bad thing about this is that it's been, how long have universities been like a central part of like every story of every family across America, and probably
since
most
the Industrial Revolution?
When was that?
I don't know.
8 years ago?
100 years ago? I'm not sure.
Say a decade, like a century.
There's always been universities, but
where it was actually part of the it was the family story though. Like, that was the goal of every parent to put their child in college. Well, I don't know about you. You don't have kids yet, but for me,
that I know of,
there could be many, dozens. But for me, this has been an ongoing debate. It's not an argument because the respect for the mother of my children, but there has been this ongoing debate about whether our kids should go to college. Now, she comes from a background where she believes. She's afraid to become an entrepreneur and to step outside of the security of a job. She's a nurse. She wants our children to be doctors, and she wants to be that is the ultimate success story for our children. For me, I'm saying that would be a disaster.
I would be so miserable if I was a doctor.
I want my kids, my two girls, to be millionaires by the time before they graduate high school. And I think that that's totally possible just by running Facebook ads.
No.
They don't even have to create a product. They don't have to do customer support.
The concept, it's even that, like, becoming a millionaire is not the goal. The goal is separating yourself from that, like, that mindset that you have to work for somebody else in order to make money, and that money is a limiting factor.
Yeah.
Where there really is no ceiling on money if you understand how money really works.
Well, that you don't have to get dropped into that funnel at all. You can just bypass the whole thing, and then you can start out, because I didn't really hit the financial freedom till like 40 years old. And so if I could somehow go through all of these developmental stages in my life that I went through, but being financially free, where I didn't, some people might argue that, well, it's the struggles that you go through that help you become the person that you are. It's the challenges that we go through that help us grow. But I believe that money doesn't have to be one of those challenges.
No.
Yeah, some people would argue that, well, if you're born with a silver spoon, then you're spoiled and maybe you don't learn all the lessons in life. But I don't think that has to be true either. It's the same parent who understands that the system is broken and they're trying to take them through. I think there's a lot of difference between somebody, the Donald Trump or whatever, who was born that way. They were born a millionaire, and they may not really understand what it's like, to come from that place. But I come from a poor background, so I understand it. So I'm not going to lead my kids into that silver spoon, existence, because I know the value of having come up from the bottom. So for me, it's just, I want them to bypass all of the unnecessary suffering, so that they can live like this ultimate, lifestyle with freedom, and financial freedom, so that they can live a better life and bring more value to others. So I think that the system as it is right now is just broken. And I think that people keep coming through the same funnel. The funnel's broken. Yeah. We know from running Facebook ads, if the funnel's broken, you get a new funnel. What the hell? But people don't get it. They keep running the same stupid broken funnel, thinking that somehow this is going to serve them, but it's not.
Yeah, it's the struggle that's associated with reaching financial freedom and reaching what people call success, or what they think is success in their mind, and the distance of how to actually reach that freedom. Like, I think a lot of people think that they have to save up a ton of money to actually be financially free, or they think that they have to, work so many years and trade so much of their life and have this quote unquote stability, where somebody else can fire them at any time.
Yeah.
But they have to do that for a certain amount of time in order to actually get to that point where they can have success and freedom. And I think what we like to focus on is kind of like changing that paradigm, that you can get to that freedom a lot faster. And as much as we struggled before we knew, because we both came from poor backgrounds, and I'm sure you could tell a lot of stories, and I could tell a lot of stories of the experience of being really poor and having guilt associated with money, having like limiting beliefs with money, and trading your time for money, and doing shitty jobs for money that paid nothing,
Tricks on the street corner.
Well, that's your story. I mean, I delivered pizza for years and years.
Yeah, I worked at like a Subway kind of like sandwich restaurant.
Which I'll tell you, being a pizza delivery guy, like, I don't care what they put in the pornos, you do not get laid.
I had 2 times as a delivery guy where I had like a naked girl answer the door.
All right, well, you're not.
I still didn't get laid.
You're not helping my point.
I still didn't get laid, no. But so you set me up. I can't pass that up. I can't not tell that story.
So what was that job?
That was
forget this entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Shit, man.
Yeah. You turned me onto a thought, but I dropped it. When I saw the
so back to the topic at hand. So, if it was up to you, and you didn't have the argument with the mother of your children, what would you tell your kids? I mean, what do you tell your kids?
I was gonna say, what I do tell my kids. Well, I understand the psychology of influence and persuasion. I've dedicated a lot of years to my life just through the sheer passion of understanding how the mind works. I've fell into, or I should say it fell into my lap, or I fell into it, the perfect storm of opportunities, which is really something so simple as running Facebook ads, and it just clicked with me. But I do understand the influence and persuasion techniques. So I actually took my kids out in San Diego. Let me take that back. They initiated it themselves. I woke up one day. I was in a hotel with them. This is after I separated from their mother, and I woke up out of bed like 10 o'clock in the morning, and they were both over at the desk, drawing, making. It was like a machine press of this drawing of a sailboat in the harbor, the San Diego harbor. Okay, and one of my daughters, the older one, she was like 7. And the other one was 5. and she's quite a good drawer. I was an artist, and she's she got that gene, I guess, because she's quite a good drawer. So she had created already like 15 copies of this sailboat. The other little girl, 5 years old, hers was sort of a pencil rendering of something similar. It was pretty pathetic, but for a 5-year-old,
Loser.
you suck. Hers are great. No, I was like, that's beautiful. It's amazing. She's an amazing girl too. She's so bright. She's so emotionally, her emotional IQ is like through the roof. But anyway, so they said, Dad, you're gonna take us down to the harbor and we're gonna sell these today. I was like, I am? What time are we doing that? We had a free day. So I was like, I got nervous. I would say the same time that I've told this story before, I don't know if the audience has heard this, but I was lying in my bed one day, I was in Dallas, Texas, and I realized if I keep doing what I'm doing today, I'm gonna become a millionaire this year. And it scared the shit out of me. I started feeling like visibly like shaken. I was like nervous by it. I felt the same way when they told me that they were going to go out, because I think I was afraid for them to fail. I was afraid of what's going to happen if they go out and they try to sell this thing out there. They don't understand anything about sales, because other than what they've heard Dad talk about in the background of their life for every year that they've been alive. But I'm afraid for them that their little heart's going to be broken, their little dreams are going to be shattered. But I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to prevent them from doing this. So I stood back. But throughout the day, as we go on, I start giving them a little class, a little mentoring session on sales. So I asked them the questions, leading questions. Do you know what you're going to say? Do you know what you're going to do? So tell me, show me. So as we get closer and closer and closer, eventually we head on our way to the harbor. We get out. And she's like, okay, let's go do this. Let's go make all the money. and I'm like, okay, do you know what you're going to say? He's like, and she just kept blowing that question off until it was time to actually, sell it. And then when we got there, she's like, Dad, what am I going to say? So it struck her that, okay, there's a challenge to this. So I was like, I kind of coached her through it a little bit. But she wanted to just do it. So she got out there and she did it, and she went through I kind of gave her the pitch, right? I kind of helped her construct the pitch. She went out and she was like, hi, my name is Naomi, and this is my sister Abby, and we created these beautiful pieces of art, and we're trying to, give them out to people. And what do you think, right? So it was a pretty sloppy presentation, and she's like, oh, well, thank you so much. I feel like this is my lucky day. Like I just won the lottery. I'm gonna go hang this on my refrigerator right now. And she's like, Dad, she didn't pay us anything. I was like, well, did you ask for the money? She's like, oh. So she learned her first lesson, you have to ask for the sale. So I was like, you need to make sure that you ask for the sale. I said, what about this? What about rather than asking for money, you offer it to them? This is what we call reciprocal exchange. You offer them something and let them donate or pay you if they want to. It's more or less soft sale, right? So taught her how to do that. And she's like, hi, my name is Naomi. This is my sister, Abby. And we spent the whole morning drawing these beautiful pieces of art, and we just want to give them out to the beautiful people of San Diego. If you would like to give us a donation, we would happily accept the donation. Or if you just want to take it for free, that's okay too, right? Boom, $5. Abby's like, what about me? Boom, $5. And I tell you,
did you coach her to say, what about me?
No, that was her. So I swear to God, okay, after about the fourth presentation, they were so good that I was like, I wanted to give them money. They were so cute and so on. I mean, and their presentation got better and better and better. $400 later, $200 of that came from me. $400 that day, their first day. They made $220 selling hand-drawn at the harbor with a great pitch. And then I gave them each a $100 bill because I was fucking ecstatic over it. I was like, wow, that was impressive. Yeah. They were so jazzed, man. And they're going to remember that day for the rest of their lives. So, but yeah, I mean, I do not want my kids going to college. I think it would distract them from success. Yeah. I want them to learn how to make money how to freely print money. You know, Bonnie, like one of our students, talks about how she was bragging to her husband. She's 60-ish, some over 60 years old, bragging about how I just printed $2,000 today. I just printed $4,000 today. I want that to be my kid's story, where they're just like, they're out there, they know how to print money, you know?
So say that I'm like somebody who's at a job, you know, I'm at the job, I'm working, and I'm thinking about I want to be an entrepreneur, and I'm kind of like, I don't know, what should I do? Maybe I'm buying courses, maybe I don't know, whatever people do. But I'm hesitant. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do it on the side, I'll do a little of this. Like, what would you say to me if you're like, if you're like, I want to guarantee that you'll succeed? Like, what would you?
You want to guarantee?
Well,
you want me to guarantee that they will succeed?
As far as like, what steps should I take? What mindset should I take? Like
the path of least resistance to success through entrepreneurship. Well, okay, I'll just say this. I'll preface this by saying that of all the people that I've known to succeed at entrepreneurship, and I mean like quitting the job and having a financially independent, you know, financially free lifestyle, only a small fraction of those people did what you're saying, where like, okay, I'm gonna just kind of like do it part-time until I have my success, and then I'm going to quit my job. Most people do say that, and then most people fail at it. It's the people who say, they might start out with that mindset for a very, very short time. They say like, you know, but then they get so hungry for it that they just say, do or die. Just like Greg was saying in one of our previous podcasts,
do or die, burn the boats.
Yeah, the Sideways Thinking podcast, he was like, yeah, you got to burn the boat. He broke his rice bowl. He had to go to war. He had to go to battle.
I like that saying. I've never heard it.
I've never heard it before, but it kind of makes sense.
It was better than burn the boats. Because I was like, what is that?
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes you just got to jump off the cliff.
But what about, I mean, it's easy to jump off the cliff if your life really, really sucks and you hate it.
Or if you have nothing to lose.
If you have nothing to lose, if you've hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And the pain of living your life is worse than the discomfort of getting out of your comfort zone and quitting and doing all that stuff. Because usually what happens, in my experience with most people, is they don't have a choice. Like it seems like a lot of times people are not like, you know, I'm just gonna commit to this, I'm gonna quit my job. It's more like they got fired, or their job is so horrible that they're depressed, and that they're thinking about, you know, horrible thoughts, and just every day is so miserable that they just can't take it anymore. So it's almost like they really don't have any choice unless they just want to be completely miserable. Like just every day waking up is a struggle, you know. For a lot of people, they're not in that, they're kind of in that middle area where they want to live a different life. Their life sucks. They just go to work every day. They get up in the morning early. They sit there in traffic. They're frustrated waiting behind somebody, getting cut off. Then they have a boss that doesn't appreciate them. They have to go to a stupid meeting. You know, this guy tells them what to do, this girl tells them what to do. They have to pretend to be someone else and like, you know, be kind of fake at work and stuff. You know, work overtime, whatever. Don't get raises like they want to. But it's consistent and it sucks, but this is my sucky life. And I could do that, but I don't know if it'll work. You know, and so their life is like, it's not shitty enough for them to be like forced to make a change. You know, so what if you're in that position where it's like, my life's miserable, but it's in my comfort zone to stay miserable versus getting out of my comfort zone to take a chance at having a much better life.
You're never going to convince somebody who isn't driven and motivated to change. I mean, you can kind of just live through, you know, example and show people, and maybe somebody can watch you and see your success and then say, I want that. And you can kind of feed that desire for change in their life that maybe they have, and they have a seed of desire for change, and maybe that'll grow into something bigger. But you know, I'm not going to sit down and try to twist somebody's arm into having the life that I have. Maybe they're happy in their life, you know, maybe they're not. I think it's the people who are not, the people that you're describing there, where their life is at a point where they're not happy. You know, they're like the guy in you know, in the Matrix movie where, you know, whatever, it's just like, you know that this isn't right. This system that I'm in, this is not right. This is not where I'm supposed to be. And if you find yourself feeling that way, that this isn't the way that life is supposed to be, why do I have to work so hard? Why do I hate my job? Why do I have to do something every day that I don't enjoy? And I look around me and I see, but if you're not even noticing those people, like if you're not noticing Rob and I out here, what we're doing, traveling the world and having a great time and enjoying life, if you're not even turned on to that, you're probably not on this call. But if you're not turned on to that, then who cares? Fine. There's people who live in harmony with their suffering, and they're okay with it. They don't even look at it as suffering. It's just like, this is the way of life, and they're happy. And I was like my younger brother, love him to death, and he's a brilliant guy. He's creative, he's smart, and he's happy as a bus driver, like who gets to go out in the evenings and drink a beer here or there and date, girls that are
to
like,
each his own, right?
Yeah, to each their own, and that's great. As long as you're happy, I'm happy for you. But if you're unhappy, then there is no excuse in this modern day and age with the internet and all of the opportunities that are out there for you to remain unhappy. If you remain unhappy, it's because of a personal choice, and you gotta like break free. That's up to you. My job is only to inspire people. My job is to just show people and just offer my hand out there to help if I can, and that's it. I don't really. I think that the responsibility here, though, is to you. If you, I don't care. I mean, as a parent and as a leader in the community, I think it's your responsibility to stop teaching people to go down this broken funnel. That's what I think. It's your responsibility to realize that times are changing, that the internet is here to stay. That the idea of going and paying $250,000 for an education that's going to get you a little line on a resume is bullshit. And that by teaching your kids, if they want to be a doctor, if they want to make change, you got to ask yourself, did I push them down this path, or did they do it on their own? Because I don't know a kid that wants to be a doctor or a lawyer unless their mother or father said, you should be what do you want? What do you want to be, a doctor? Of course, when you lead your child down that path. I think the responsibility is to teach the children now so that they're not stuck in this position. It's the people that are like, they've been conditioned to believe that, life is about working really hard until I'm 65, and then I will have financial freedom. I'll get my pension, or I'll get my whatever, save up enough money in the bank, and then when I can't walk anymore, then I'll have some financial freedom. But that doesn't happen that way. It's your boss. He had financial freedom all his life while you worked your ass off for him. But I mean, ultimately, I think it's the responsibility of the parents and the leaders in the community to teach our children so that they don't come up and get pushed into that broken funnel. And don't torture your children just because you've had a tortured life yourself.
So don't force your kids down a path that they don't have to go down. But also, if you don't hear the calling, if it doesn't resonate with you, then maybe entrepreneurship isn't for you. But if listening to this message that we're talking about, and you're saying, screw the work, screw the 9 to 5, and screw working for someone else, and screw going to college just so you can have a mediocre job and a lifetime of debt. All right.
So
then
we were just on a call this morning, 7:30 this morning, and what was the name of the guy who told his story? He was in the Walmart. David, okay. So David was saying how, I don't remember all the details around his story, but he was telling his story, how he was sitting in a Walmart tire center waiting room, waiting for them to put some tires on his little Saturn or whatever. And he was watching our little video where we give our presentation of what it is that we do and how we've got a life freedom, like financial freedom, and how that turned him on to it. And then now, months later, how much did he say? Did he say how much he made? I'm sure he did. I just don't remember.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot, like $47,000 in the last month or something crazy. I don't know. I don't want to misquote. But, he was a success story. He's making a lot. And I think that kind of puts it all in perspective, that all you need to do is just tell your story. If you believe that like this lifestyle and the entrepreneur lifestyle is for you, all you got to do is just be successful, and then show other people around you not bragging or something like that, but inspire other people.
Exactly. Don't go and preach to other people what they should do.
Yeah.
Just be an example, and some people will be drawn to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a pull, not a push.
All right, and this guy, I mean, I don't think that David was sitting down in the Walmart Tire Center. I think he was one of those people who didn't have the calling, who wasn't searching for something. He was putting tires on his car at Walmart. And then this link came up for him to watch a presentation, and then the spark happened. And he was able midway through life to have the spark, and then to turn his life around on a dime. And then a few months later, he's making $50,000 a month, and he never even saw it coming. It hit him like broadside, like a truck, you know?
No.
So I mean, I would say that, you know, for those people who maybe, you know, in your life who don't see what you see, then your job is only to inspire them, you know, so that the world can change around you. You don't have to try to go out there and force it. Just be a good example. So
in summary, college and jobs are bullshit.
It was a waste of my time. It was a big waste of my time. I wish I would have done it differently, but you know, you can learn a few things. It's a good place to learn, you know, to become socially, yeah, whatever. I think that's bullshit too, even, because I think that no matter what you do in life, you're gonna develop yourself socially. You're gonna build a network. How many people do you know from college who have helped you do a product launch or have success at something? Like they say, go to college so that you can build up your network. You know, go to wherever, like Harvard or something, so that you can have a network of successful people who can later benefit you in life. Like that bullshit story. Like, you don't need to know somebody who's gone to Harvard to be successful. I know one person who's gone to Harvard that's actually successful as an entrepreneur. Who's that? Like, so you know who I'm talking about, though, right?
Bobby's partner.
Bobby and Bobby's partner. I know.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah. Bobby and, yeah, it doesn't matter. But he's like the only guy I know who's actually gone to Harvard, and he's a successful entrepreneur. And he's very smart. But he could have been successful at this had he not gone to Harvard. He's just smart, you know? So I don't think you need that. I don't think you need the network. You need these guys who, like David, who knows how to make money online, but he's not, you know, he doesn't have to have a piece of paper or some kind of like certificate up on the wall, you know, to show it. There's tons of people out there. You can develop yourself and your network and all that stuff.
You know, or even he didn't know how to make money online, but he had the drive.
Yeah.
You know, and he heard the calling to be an entrepreneur, and he saw the link to go watch a presentation. He found something that worked for him, stuff that's working for us.
Anyway, fun.
Cool. Good talk.
Ultimate freedom.
I could probably count off 50 people's names right now who are doing extremely well, and they all started out with the same story. They showed up here with a backpack and a dream. And those people are making anywhere from $5,000 to a couple $100,000 a month. When I'm here, I think something and it's clear and I do it and it works. When I'm in America, I'm confused and I kind of try something and then it doesn't work. It's like an average dude struggling. I don't want to be an average dude struggling. I want to be like a Superman. I want to just think something and it happens.